let's go back to the beginning of your acting career. I mean, we'd love to hear a little bit about how you first got involved in acting, and when did you decide that that was what you wanted to do?
Well, really, when I did a year of college because that was necessary for my parents to even let me go to New York. And I tried to love it, but I didn't. I wanted to go to New York. I was a ballet dancer. So I really went to New York, not to act, but to study with Balanchine and American Ballet Theater. And wherever I could study, go home, open a ballet school in Houston, Texas, and live down the street from my parents. But as you know, life takes its turns. And that didn't happen. It slowly happened with the acting. I started with commercials. Somebody saw me in a commercial. In fact, it was Glenn Larson who produced McLeod. And he saw me in a Breck commercial and he said, I want you to do the love story of the season. And I hadn't really acted. I'd acted, but not in anything like McLeod, and certainly opposite, Dennis Weaver sounded bigger than life. So he said, nope, you're going to do it. And they cast me, and I met with Dennis. And I said to Dennis, I'm not sure I'm up to this. And he was the nicest man. He said, you're up to this. I'm going to get you the greatest director. That was Lou Antonio, who is my daughter's godfather today. We remain very close friends. And he just put me at ease. And that was the first really big thing I did, which led to other things. So it wasn't in my plan. I'm going to be an actress. But the more I did, the more I loved it. And that's way before Charlie's Angels. So you do
Yeah.
little things, and one is a stepping stone to the next.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us about how you got cast in Charlie's Angels.
Well, I had done Switch with Robert Wagner and Eddie Albert, and I had a semi-regular role. And oddly enough, RJ had an interest in Charlie's Angels, and Ivan Goff and Ben Roberts, who were the producers of our pilot, said, we like the girl on Switch, even though they wanted a redhead because it was to be a blonde, a brunette, and a redhead, thinking it covered all the bases in women in the world, which was a little crazy. But so even though I didn't have red hair, I got the part. I went in and read among a lot of other actresses, not giving particularly the best reading of my career, but they had seen Switch and they said, this is the girl. And that's how I got it.
Yeah. Now, I know it was a movie and then it turned into a series. Did you suspect from the start that it was going to be this huge hit?
Um, I thought it was an interesting concept because it was three women instead of three men, emotionally and financially independent. But at the very beginning, the network had no respect, trust, or faith in anything we did. So at that point, they tested shows, and it tested through the roof before it even aired. And the heads of the network said, that's a fluke. That couldn't be. This is fluff and has no value. So they said, we'll test it again. It was even higher. And they kept doing that even after our pilot aired and we took the time slot. They insisted on testing it again. And then finally, they said, you know what? We must have been wrong. And finally, the Angels had a seat at the table and we had a voice. But it wasn't overnight. I mean, Aaron Spelling believed in us and Lynn Goldberg, but no, the network thought, I'm not going to make it.
Yeah. Did you feel like you were encountering types of sexism during those first years?
Well, I never, I don't know, coming being a Houston girl, and I never thought like that.
Yeah.
I was sort of brought up in it. I didn't think about it until, maybe later I would think about it, but I just thought they thought had no depth, and it was Barbie dolls prancing around in pretty clothes and no one would watch it. But oddly enough, it was a family show. So men, women, kids, they could gather around and all watch it. And frankly, I think I have some of those people that watched that show following me today, whether it be in my apparel or my skincare, because they got to know me on that show.
Yeah, absolutely.
was in their living rooms. And I think it was, they think we were exploited, but it was really a family show.
Hmm.
It's
And what
fun.
was your relationship with the other ladies on the show, with Kate and Farrah? Did you all get along? Was it a
The first three, yeah, we were a trio, one for all and all for one. We got along great. That bond was very strong. Um, in all honesty, I can't say it went on through all the 5 years, but the bond at the beginning was strong. That's not to say anything against any angels. Cheryl came in and filled impossible shoes and did a brilliant job. There's something about launching something where it ties you together. It all worked, but it was never the bond that we had the first time around.
Did you stay in touch with Farrah
Oh,
Fawcett
yeah.
before?
I was very close to her
Mhm.
until the end of her life. In fact, closest at the end of her life.
Mm.
And I talked to Kate, and I just saw Cheryl. She had dinner here when she was doing Dancing with the Stars.
Oh,
So
that's great.
yeah, stay in touch. It's
So
very
looking back at that experience, was there like a moment that was the most memorable for you shooting that series that you look back and you think, gosh, that was just the most incredible thing?
um hmm. Maybe when Aaron Spelling came in and said we beat Gone with the Wind, because that's my favorite movie, and we were opposite. Part of our 1 hour of our show was opposite, and I thought, Gone with the Wind, that's impossible, because I wanted to be Vivian Leigh. I thought, ooh, that movie. I had to have Tara in a canopy bed, so I didn't quite get that we could beat Gone with the Wind, but that was kind of a moment. It was a
Uh,
moment.
and any moment on set shooting something that like a scene that you'll remember or something that
I think the Angels in Chains, the first season where we were all chained together. We couldn't fluff our hair, put on lipstick, and we're just there. And the show went really quickly because no one could run to the motorhome. And we were just such good friends. And we knew at that point we had a hit show. And I think a hit show, it's rare. You don't always find a show that hits like Charlie's and has that kind of share. But there were only 3 networks at the time.
yeah.
So that, the Angels in Chains, that show was pretty amazing. It had Kim Basinger, it had James Woods, it had a huge cast of pretty amazing people.
Thanks for watching the You Interview channel. With over 3,000 original celebrity videos, we have one of the largest collections of celebrity interviews anywhere. So remember to like and comment on our videos and subscribe to the channel. If you want to get more involved, you can become a member of the channel. Membership has its perks. You can see exclusive celebrity videos and get the opportunity to ask our celebrity guests questions. We can't wait to hear from you.